So here's the thing everyone keeps saying. Turn-based JRPGs are dead. And look, I get why people think that. Action games dominate. Everything's got to be real time now, right? Wrong. 2018 changed everything. Octopath Traveler drops, sells 3 million copies. Dragon Quest XI hits worldwide. Publishers look at the numbers and go, wait, people actually want this? They did. They do. This is the countdown. 20 modern turn-based JRPGs that prove the genre is not just alive, it's thriving. We're going 20 down to number 1. Real talk before we start. I'm only counting games from 2018 forward. Remakes count if they're definitive versions. No lazy ports. Let's go.
Number 20, Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Complete Edition. 2 full games. Over 300 Digimon. 300. Type triangle, vaccine beats virus, virus beats data, data beats vaccine. But the real depth, Digivolution chains. You scan Digimon, hit 100%, add the team. Then you're constantly evolving up, de-evolving back down, cycling through to max stats. Agumon becomes War Greymon, drop him back to Agumon, re-level, push those base stats higher. Pokemon evolution on steroids. Cross combos trigger when party members align on the turn timeline. You're managing turn order for team attacks. Stories, Pokemon for people who want actual stakes. Tokyo and cyberspace, detective cases, real plot. Pacing drags. 60+ hours feels bloated. Some side cases are mandatory filler. But if Digimon nostalgia hits and you want mechanical depth, this is it.
Number 19, Octopath Traveler. This game invented HD 2D. That pixel art on 3D with depth of field look started here. Square Enix built their whole modern aesthetic around what Octopath pioneered. Combat's why we're here. Break and boost. Every enemy has shield points tied to weaknesses. Hit those weaknesses, break the shield, enemy stunned for 2 turns and takes double damage. You're managing boost points. Cap at 5, spend up to 3. Boost attacks for more hits, boost spells for damage. When do I break this shield? Boost now or save? Spend 3 points to break this turn or wait and triple my damage output. Every encounter demands attention. 8 protagonists. 8 separate stories that don't connect. That's the fatal flaw. They're traveling together but narratively isolated. Ophelia's on a pilgrimage. Honnet's hunting. Their stories never intersect. But mechanically, this laid the blueprint. Break and boost became the template every modern turn-based JRPG borrowed from. This defined what modern turn-based combat looks like.
Number 18, Dragon Quest XI's Definitive Edition. Orchestrated soundtrack, 2D mode, new scenarios, voice acting. The ultimate version. Classic JRPG done perfectly. Traditional turn-based combat, no gimmicks. ATB, party management, ability trees. It's Dragon Quest. Been Dragon Quest since 1986, still Dragon Quest now. And that's not a criticism. Character development is warm. Eric's got heart. Sylvando steals every scene. The party feels like friends. Pacing respects your time. Story moves. Dungeons don't overstay. Koichi Sugiyama's orchestrated soundtrack carries weight. Draconian Quest mode adds challenge. Enemy stat boosts, no shops, limited running. Hard mode makes you think. There's no revolutionary mechanic here. It's a JRPG operating at peak efficiency. Comfort food executed flawlessly. Sometimes you don't need innovation. Sometimes you need a game that understands its identity and commits.
Number 17, Valkyria Chronicles 4, the tactical JRPG that kicked off this era. Blitz system blends overhead strategy with tactical shooter. You're looking at battlefield from above, selecting units. Then perspective shifts to third person and you manually control that unit. Aim weapons, position shots, use cover. You're playing XCOM, then you're playing a shooter. Seamless. Squad composition matters. Scouts for mobility, shock troopers for damage, engineers for support, lancers for anti-armor, snipers for range. You're balancing the squad, adapting to missions, managing command points. Command points let you move units. Move one unit multiple times or spread across squad. Push my scout deep to capture a base. Use multiple points to position my lancer for a tank kill. Interception fire adds tension. Move through enemy line of sight. They shoot at you in real time. The hybrid shooter mechanics are love it or hate it. If manually aiming doesn't appeal, the novelty wears off. But when it works, when you're orchestrating multi-unit assaults, tanks rolling, lancers flanking, it's like nothing else. Number 16, Tactics Ogre Reborn. A remaster of a 1995 classic that modernizes without changing what made it legendary.
Grid-based tactical combat that's genuinely hard. Positioning matters. High ground gives accuracy and damage. Elevation matters. Flanking triggers assists. Class specialization matters. Random encounters aren't filler. They're tactical puzzles. Branching storylines based on moral choices. Massacre civilians to maintain order. Spare enemies and risk future conflict. The game tracks. Routes diverge. Crafting system is deep, enhancing weapons, socketing gems, building equipment for specific encounters. Reborn added remastered graphics, UI overhaul, quality of life improvements. The original was brilliant, but archaic. Reborn modernized without simplifying. Battles last 20 to 30 minutes. You're thinking 3 moves ahead. If you're not into granular tactical positioning, you'll bounce off hard. But if you want combat that respects your intelligence, gold standard.
Number 15, Chained Echoes. Made by one guy, Matthias Linda, solo developer, 7 years. And it's better than most AAA projects. The overdrive mechanic is genius. Gauge in center of screen. Use powerful skills, it rises toward red. Use defensive skills, it drops toward blue. Stay in green zone, you're golden. Max out to red, party takes increased damage. Drop too low, not dealing enough damage. This forces you to use your entire toolkit. Can't spam strongest attack, cast big spell, gauge goes up. Follow with defend, gauge drops. Every random encounter becomes a tactical puzzle. Bosses have overdrive gauges too. Push them into red, they enter overheat and take massive damage. 60-hour campaign, no grinding because EXP pacing is perfect. Skill board lets you customize growth. Mechs show up mid-game. Combat changes completely, and it's $25. One guy made this. Stories serviceable. War, kingdoms, plot twists. Characters have charm, but depth is thin. But for pure combat design and respect for your time, insane value. Number 14, Bravely Default 2. Brave/default mechanic. Save turns by defaulting, or borrow future turns by braving. Default puts you in defensive stance and banks a turn. Brave spends bank's turns to act multiple times. Go 3 actions ahead, but spend turns you don't have, and your character goes negative. Do I default to tank this boss attack? Brave 4 times to burst this enemy down? Gamble and go negative to finish the fight. Job system is streamlined. Master a job, keep permanent stat boosts after switching. You're constantly experimenting. Vanguard damage plus monk scaling equals truck hits. Passive ability system is where depth lives. Master a job, unlock passives, you can equip on any job, building hybrid classes. Weight system adds trade-offs. Heavy armor slows you, but increases defense. Light armor keeps you fast, but fragile. Stories, the Final Fantasy crystal narrative you've seen before. 4 heroes, 4 crystals, save the world. Platform reality tanked sales. Spiritual Final Fantasy game on Switch when most JRPG players are on PlayStation, PC, Xbox. But mechanically, tight. If you want job depth and turn manipulation, it delivers. Number 13, Yakuza Like a Dragon. Yakuza went turn-based and the fan base lost it. Action beat-em-up series for 20 years. Then they said next one's turn-based. And it works. It shouldn't, but it does. Job system starts chapter 5 at Hello Work, Japan's employment agency. Bodyguard, host, chef, breakdancer. Swap classes, keep permanent stat boosts. Ichiban starts as hero. Make him a chef for healing, breakdancer for AoE, foreman for tanking. Combat is fun in a way that shouldn't work. Environmental interactions matter. Grab a bicycle, smash someone. Near a railing, throw enemies over. Traffic cones, signboards, motorcycles. Everything's a weapon. Timing matters. Perfect guards reduce damage. Perfect attacks deal extra hits. Summons are ridiculous. Crawfish with machine guns, satellite laser, baby in mech suit. The game knows it's absurd. Stories peak Yakuza. Ichiban gets betrayed, prison, out 18 years later, rebuilding from nothing, finding new family. The crazy thing is it proved turn-based isn't locked into fantasy settings. You can put turn-based combat anywhere if execution's strong enough. Number 12. Fire Emblem Three Houses. Grid-based tactical combat meets social simulation at a military academy. Persona meets Fire Emblem. You're a professor at Garreg Mach Monastery. 3 houses. Black eagles, blue lions, golden deer. Pick one. Teach students, manage relationships. Then those students become your tactical units. Social links matter mechanically. Build relationships. Unlock support abilities. Byleth supports Edelgard. Stat boost when adjacent. You're building them because combat effectiveness depends on it. Teaching system has depth. Students have proficiencies. You assign instruction. Training determines class paths. Felix can be Swordmaster, Bow Knight, or Mortal Savant, depending on how you train him. Combat is solid grid tactics. Positioning matters. Forests give evasion. Forts give defense. Weapon triangle. Combat arts spend durability for power. Divine Pulse, rewind turns. Make a mistake, rewind, redo. Casual friendly without removing challenge. 4 routes, each 50 to 70 hours. Full completion, 200 plus hours. Difficulty settings make or break this. Normal is trivial. Hard demands strategy. Maddening is brutal. The game's biggest strength is integration. Social systems talk to combat systems. Nothing exists in isolation.
Number 11. Triangle Strategy. Spiritual successor to Tactics Ogre. HD 2D aesthetic, grid-based tactical combat, moral choices. Positioning is everything. Elevation advantages. High ground gives hit bonuses. Flanking attacks position enemies between 2 party members, trigger follow-ups automatically. Environmental interactions are key. Set wheat fields on fire, spread with wind spells. Lightning spells on water hit everyone inside. Ice spells freeze water, movement terrain changes. Ladders are choke points. Bridges are kill zones. You're using maps, not just fighting on them. Scales of conviction makes moral choices matter. Which character you align with, which convictions you prioritize. Multiple branching paths. Conviction impacts recruitment. Some characters join based on liberty, some utility, some morality. Voting system lets party members weigh in. Major decisions go to vote. You're persuading them through dialogue or previous actions. Quietus abilities are ultimates. Build tactical points, spend on Quietus. Frederica summons ice storms. Sirona calls coordinated strikes. Difficulty curves inconsistently. Battles run 30 to 45 minutes because maps are large. Stories, political drama. 3 nations, trade war, betrayal. Dense dialogue, slow burn. Number 10. Sea of Stars. Chrono Trigger homage done right. Sabotage Studios studied the blueprint and understood the assignment. Pixel art is gorgeous, deliberately retro but handcrafted. Animations are smooth. Looks like a lost SNES game that shouldn't exist. Combat's built on timed hits. Every turn, you execute button prompts. Hit the button right as your attack lands, double damage. Time your block perfectly, minimize incoming damage. Live mana system adds depth. Land normal attacks. Great mana orbs pop out. Absorb them to power attacks with elemental damage. Lock system prevents powerful enemy attacks. Enemy charges a big spell. Locks appear showing required damage types. Hit the right types before the timer runs out, cancel their attack. Combo attacks unlock when both characters act on the same turn. Valere and Zale trigger Sun-Moon combos. No random encounters. Every enemy on the map is visible and avoidable. You control when you engage. Narrative is a cozy adventure. Valere and Zale are Solstice warriors fighting the Dweller. Earnest, without being saccharine. Pacing lags in the second act, some dungeons overstay, but for charming retro adventure with modern sensibilities, it nails it.
Number 9, The Legend of Heroes, Trails into Reverie. Trails into Reverie is 20 years of interconnected storytelling finally paying off. 3 protagonists from 2 separate arcs converging. Lloyd Bannings from Crossbell, Rian Schwarzer from Erebonia, the Nameless One, Mysterious Third Perspective. If you haven't played Trails of Cold Steel or Trails from Zero Azure, this game is impenetrable. That's intentional. This is for fans who invested years. Character interactions between protagonists from different arcs hit emotional beats because the setup was years in the making. Lloyd reunites with characters from Crossbell. Rian closes arcs from Cold Steel. Moments land because you've spent hundreds of hours with these people. True Reverie Corridor is the endgame dungeon. Roguelite mode where you dive deep, face challenges, unlock rewards, different each run. Combat is refined turn-based tactical with positioning, break system, craft abilities, S-crafts for ultimates. Mini-games are dense. Poker, blackjack, beach volleyball, fishing, 80 to 100 hours to 100%. For the target audience, it's 10 out of 10. For someone jumping in blind, drowning in continuity. But that's the trade-off of long-form storytelling done right.
Number 8. Like a Dragon
infinite wealth. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth refines the turn-based formula the first game established and elevates it. Job system expanded. 20 classes total. Samurai, Desperado, Kunichi, Aquanaut. Deeper customization, more synergies. You can move characters during battle now, not static positioning, free movement. Position next to allies for combo attacks, near environmental objects to use as weapons. Knockback mechanics add strategy. Hit enemies into walls for bonus damage, into other enemies to damage both. You're calculating trajectories. Skill inheritance is key. As you level bonds, party members can bring over skills from other jobs, building custom hybrid classes. The flexibility is insane. Kiryu's Dragon of Dojima job is unique. He activates Dragon's Resurgence, which changes combat to classic beat-em-up gameplay for limited time. 3 battle styles: Brawler, Rush, and Beast. Fan service done perfectly. Story is peak Yakuza. Multiple playable protagonists, Ichiban and Kiryu. Hawaii setting provides visual variety. Bucket list system for Kiryu hits hard. He's dying. Terminal cancer. Making a list of things to do before the end. Revisiting people. Saying goodbye. The game handles it with respect. Sujimon is Pokemon in Yakuza. Dondoko Island is Animal Crossing in Yakuza. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth is everything the first game was, but more refined.
Number 7. Paper Mario, the Thousand-Year Door remake is what a remake should be. Takes a 2004 GameCube classic and modernizes it without losing charm. Turn-based combat with action commands. Timing button presses increases damage. Timing during enemy attacks reduces incoming damage. Every attack has timing. Jump on enemy, press A as you land for bonus damage. Guard enemy attacks. Hit B right before impact to reduce damage to 1. Super guard. Frame-perfect timing negates damage entirely and damages the attacker. Boss fights demand perfect execution. Audience mechanic is unique. Citizens watch your battle and react. Pull off perfect attacks, audience cheers, star power increases. Mess up, audience boos, star power drops. Star power fuels special moves. Sweet Treat heals party. Earth Tremor damages all enemies. Badges give deep customization. Power Plus increases attack. FP Plus expands ability points. Limited badge points means choices matter. Partners have unique abilities in and out of combat. Goombella reveals enemy stats. Koops hits distance switches. Swapping partners contextually important. Remake added voice acting, modernized visuals, quality of life improvements. Writing's genuinely funny, charming without being childish.
Number 6. Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance. SMT-V Vengeance is the press turn system perfected. Press turn foundation, exploit enemy weaknesses, and you get extra turns. Hit a weakness or crit, half press turn consumed. Miss or hit resistance, lose extra turns. Forces aggressive play every single turn. You're thinking 4 moves ahead. Which demon hits this weakness? If I hit the weakness, I get another action. Press advantage or prepare for counter. Vengeance adds Canon of Vengeance, completely new narrative route parallel to the base game's canon of creation. Around 75 hours of fresh content. Yoko Hiromine is the new protagonist companion. Quadishtu, 4 demon ladies serving as antagonists. Lilith, Naama, Aisheth, and Agrat. Demon fusion is king. Combine demons, inherit moves, inherit stat boosts, your theory crafting optimal builds. Demon Hot system lets you interact with demons between battles, talk to them, give gifts, build relationships. Magatsui skills are ultimate abilities. Build gauge, unleash devastating effects. Critical hits guaranteed, damage increased, full party heal. Difficulty is high. Bosses hit hard. You need to understand mechanics deeply, prepare for fights, adapt when plans fail. Vengeance of Canon Path completely changes mid-game. Different locations, different bosses, different story. The problem, story is still convoluted. SMT narratives are dense. Philosophy, theology, morality, gods, demons. But if you want tactical knowledge and mastery rewarded, SMTV Vengeance is it.
Number 5, Octopath Traveler II. Octopath Traveler II fixes the first game's fatal flaw, disconnected narratives. 8 protagonists, but now their stories actually intersect. Shared side stories called Crossed Paths, party members interact and react to each other. Oswald questions capitalism watching Pertidio. Throae's assassination past conflicts with Temenos' faith. Characters argue, bond, matter to each other. The first game's biggest problem? Solved. Break and boost is refined, enemy AI is smarter, latent powers add depth. Oswald casts spells free for 3 turns. Throne acts twice. Hikari chains massive combos. Day-night cycle affects story progression. NPCs have schedules. Path actions have day and night versions. Scrutinize during the day, mug at night. Inventor class lets you craft custom spells. Ocean travel opens the world, sailing between continents, discovering islands. HD 2D aesthetic polished even further. Octopath 2 is what the first game should have been. Combat was already great. Presentation already stunning. Narrative was broken. This fixed it.
Number 4, Metaphor ReFantazio. Metaphor ReFantazio is Atlus's new flagship fantasy IP. Might be their best work. Archetype system evolves Persona's social link model. Archetypes are job classes. Physical like warrior, magical like mage, hybrids that blend both. Key difference from Persona: weakness exploitation is mandatory. Boss encounters demand specific archetype setups or you get destroyed. Press turn system modified. Hit weakness, get half turn icon. Party of 4 becomes 8 actions if you're exploiting correctly. Synthesis attacks chain archetypes for combos. Warrior plus mage triggers elemental blade. You're building synergies intentionally. Archetype inheritance works like Persona. Master warrior, inherit charge to mage. Now your mage buffs before nuking. Lineage system unlocks advanced paths. Warrior evolves to sword master, evolves to paladin. Calendar system is Persona structure applied to fantasy. Limited days, unlimited activities. Social links unlock archetypes. Strengthen bond with Stroll, unlock Nightline. Real-time combat for trash mobs. Swing weapon on the field, kill weak enemies without entering turn-based. They didn't remake Persona with fantasy skin. Archetype system demands preparation in ways Persona doesn't. Metaphors positioned to define the next decade of turn-based design.
Number 3, Persona 3 Reload. Persona 3 Reload is a complete ground-up rebuild of a 2006 game. Not a port, an actual remake. Visually overhauled, new engine, updated UI. Tartarus got visual variety. Original was repetitive hallways. Reload added environmental diversity. Narrative stays faithful. You discover the Dark Hour, hidden 25th hour where shadows emerge. Join SEES, fight shadows, uncover conspiracies. Combat adds theurgy. Each character's gauge builds when they fulfill their role. Yukari heals, gauge builds. Junpei crits, gauge builds. Unleash devastating ultimate that ignores resistances. Shift system lets you pass turns after downing enemies. Knockdown, shift to another member, they act immediately. Chain shifts across party. Elizabeth requests unlock her as a secret super boss, one of the hardest fights in the game. The ending stays sad. Original Persona 3 ends tragically. Reload doesn't change that. The game earns its ending. That's the point. Voice acting for social links, quality of life everywhere, fast travel, streamlined menus. This is the definitive Persona 3.
Number 2, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. This is the mechanical evolution we've been waiting for. Turn-based with mandatory real-time mechanics. During the enemy's turn, you manually dodge, parry, counter, real-time input during their action window. Reactive defense system is the innovation. Enemies telegraph attacks. You execute defensive action. Perfect parry? Counterattack deals massive damage, generates +1 AP. Missed timing? Take full damage, lose momentum. Dodging has wider window, but only avoids damage. Parrying has tighter window, but rewards AP and counters. You're engaged every second. Enemy winds up, parry at the right moment. Enemy casts AoE, dodge out of zone. Strategic layer remains deep, planning turns, managing resources, exploiting weaknesses. Each character has unique mechanics. Gustave builds overcharge for electrical attacks. Lune manipulates elemental stains. Mael switches battle stances. Belle Epoque aesthetic is stunning. 1900s Paris reimagined as dark fantasy. Stories about the paintress, God, who paints a number yearly. When she paints 33, everyone aged 33 plus ceases to exist. Strategic depth means turn-based planning. Execution requires real-time skill on top. This is the frontier of turn-based design.
At number 1, Persona 5 Royal, the cultural phenomenon of the modern JRPG era. Not just a good game, a cultural icon. Stylistic confidence is off the charts. UI is gorgeous. Character design's iconic. Soundtrack memorable. Last surprise, rivers in the desert, beneath the mask. Every menu, every transition oozes style. Art direction so strong it influenced the entire industry.
Social simulation plus dungeon crawling integration is unmatched. Limited timeline, 366 days. How you spend days determines power in battle. Time with Ryuji unlocks physical skills. Time with Anne unlocks fire magic. Non-combat time has direct combat consequences. Third semester, added in Royal, completes the game. Base Persona 5 ends December. Royal added January through March. New palace, new antagonist, Takuto Maruki. That addition transforms the narrative. Maruki's palace explores grief, trauma, reality versus happiness. Royal makes Persona 5 whole. Combat is press turn variant. Hit weakness, get one more. Down all enemies, trigger all-out attack. Baton pass chains weakness exploitation. Joker hits ice, baton pass to Yusuke, Yusuke hits wind, baton pass to Anne hits fire, baton pass to Ryuji nukes with triple boosted damage. Combat becomes choreography. Palace design is strong. Each represents distorted desires as location. Kamoshida's is a castle. Futaba's is a pyramid tomb. October 2022 multi-platform release is the legacy moment. Every platform simultaneously. PlayStation exclusive to ubiquitous. Sales massive. The multi-platform version hit 1 million in its first month. Combined with the original PS4 release, Persona 5 Royal reached over 3 million copies. The entire Persona 5 series, including the base game and spin-offs, crossed 10 million. That's mainstream breakthrough. It's long, 120 plus hours. Some confidants drag. Okamura's Palace is hated, but Persona 5 Royal isn't #1 because it's mechanically revolutionary. It's #1 because it proved turn-based JRPGs could be culturally dominant and mechanically sound and narratively satisfying all at once. It defined the modern era by showing the genre's actual potential. Every game on this list exists in its shadow. That's reality.
That's it. 20 games. 2018 to right now. Turn-based JRPGs aren't dead. They're thriving. The variety here, tactical grids, social simulations, action economy refinements, real-time hybrid systems, proves the genre has enough mechanical depth to sustain multiple design philosophies simultaneously. If anyone tells you turn-based is dated, show them this list. We're not looking back at a golden age, we're living in it right now. Thanks for watching.